Hello everyone, it's Full Abilities here. My name's Hannah, and today we have an honor to be joined by Lauren Michelle, who's sharing her story on Instagram. And today we are going to talk about chronic illness and disability. And yeah, if you want to join Lauren's journey, you can join her on her Instagram at all the links you'll need are going to be in the description box. And if you want to learn about us as well, again, everything will be down below. So yeah, let's get to the question. Lauren, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your chronic illnesses?
So hi, I'm Lauren Michelle, Instagram handle at Cortisol Queen, and I am here to tell you a little bit about two of my illnesses. So I have two very acute chronic illnesses, and one of which is a mast cell disease. Basically, I am allergic to life. Put me in a bubble, please, and use a lot of EpiPens. And the other is Addison's disease. No, I'm not a dog. Yes, JFK had Addison's. Every case of Addison's is different, and we've come very far.
How do they impact your everyday life?
Well, currently I am homebound because if I go outside, the last time I had anaphylaxis, someone was mowing the grass, and I was wearing a 95 trying to go to a doctor's appointment, and I wasn't even there, obviously, for allergy, but tried giving my IV Benadryl, rescue meds, and needed an EpiPen, so missing on a lot there. Adrenal crises, I've normalized them so much because I've had so many, because I'm in adrenal failure. I make no cortisol, but I've had to drop out of a lot of classes, not completely drop out of school. I only have a few credits left to get my biochemistry degree, but every single day I have to kind of be on the lookout for, oh, am I going to have anaphylaxis to this, or this? Or, oh, I'm brown and I feel like I'm going to pass out and I'm dizzy and I'm going into shock. Can someone give me an emergency shot for the Addison's?
What's something you'd like to tell people about living with a disability?
I don't really like the royal we because we're all different, but believe us. Believe our symptoms. Believe that we need rest more so than other people. Believe those of us who have POTS really do need to take salt tabs daily. Believe me when I say I'm wearing this mask because cleaning people came and I can't breathe very well with the stuff they use, even though it's our detergent. So,
in your opinion, what problems affecting people with disability are the most difficult?
It's accommodations. A lot of people say that, oh, it's just, I have special privileges, and they're not privileges. They're just evening the playing field. And a lot of people don't see it that way. So that's my biggest problem, and that's the me disabled. It could be completely different to another person.
What does your daily routine look like?
Okay, I'm gonna go through this next question as fast as I can because the daily routine is like a full-time job. I wake up between 3 and 5, make sure that my TPN, total parenteral nutrition, is running because of the mast cell and the Addison's and the drugs I have to take. I have malabsorption of the gut, the small intestine doesn't work. Thankfully, my stomach works, but we had to go straight to TPN, and that's the last resort sort of thing. I wake up, do all of that, take a ton of medications just to block my mast cells from degranulating. And degranulating is just like kind of like, here's your cell, degranulate. I'm gonna, put a lot of stuff out there. Check my pump for cortisol, make sure it's running. Make sure I take the fludrocortisone to keep my blood pressure up. And then I get to enjoy a cup of coffee, and we always try to feed me a little bit, even though I'm about 90% reliant on my TPN currently. Lunchtime I take, or actually anytime I want to have food, I have to take chromoin sodium so that my body tolerates it, and it has to be a half hour before. So I do that all day. Lunch is usually, right now it's something liquid. It's always the safe food until it's not safe. So we just try everything. Around like between 4 and 6, I have more meds due, so I give all those medications. Try again to eat something. Shower, which means covering the support needle, and that's a mess. It takes a long time. And then taking my nighttime medications. Somewhere in there I usually nap, because it's very hard for me to sleep at night, because I could easily stop breathing on my own sometimes. So I have a service dog who knows how to alert for that, and my body naturally wakes up every about 3 to 4 hours, because that's about when you can take more Benadryl to stop a reaction, or you need to check on the hydrocortisone that you have pumping through you. So that is my day. Very busy, but worth it. There's appointments in there too.
What bothers you the most in other people's behavior towards?
I think what bothers me the most of the behaviors towards me that I get is the disbelief that I have a problem. I am definitely, or at least I used to pass as someone who probably doesn't have a disability. I don't look like it. It's called invisible illness. That is a huge problem, because they act like I can do everything when really I'm putting on an act to do everything, and I'm exhausted and I get burned out, and I have to go to the hospital a lot of the time for certain things, not because of people's opinions, but it's just the behavior towards me is very weird when they find out that I'm sick, because I don't look sick. And I don't like that, because people don't understand that, like, I used to be a professional ballerina. I was doing yoga every day. I was eating healthy food all day. I was at the top of my physical fitness, yet I woke up one morning permanently disabled. So,
In your opinion, what's something that people should know about disabilities and illnesses?
I think personally, I don't like the royal we, because someone's going to think something else anywhere. You can't always see it. No one owes you their diagnoses and why they're doing certain things. And every disease and chronic illness is different. I could say I have 2 friends who have lupus, but they experience completely different things. Say one of them's on plaquenil, that works great for them, and the other one's on methotrexate or Celsep. Disease is very individualized, and you should try to refrain from giving unsolicited medical advice to anyone who's disabled.
How has living with a disability affected your life?
I had to move home because I couldn't take care of myself. I now have a service dog named Nova who helps me a lot, but it's still training. Though I'm pretty sure she's a people standpoint. Dropping in and out of classes for school. That's been hard. Taking online classes to finish up a science degree. It's impacted my life in ways that I didn't even know it could. I have a walker because sometimes I can't walk very well. I understand why people say I have fallen and cannot get up, because I've literally fallen and not been able to get up. I've lost a lot of muscle tone and weakness. I can't eat. I'm on total parental nutrition. The list goes on and on. An illness is going to affect everyone differently depending on severity, but mine's severe.
Is there something your medical journey has taught you? And if so, what is it?
It has taught me that one of the most important things in my life is human kindness, other people, your family. Personally, I am a Christian, and I know that's not really, maybe it is common for people with chronic illnesses, but it's taught me that my relationship with God is worth more than what's happening to me, that I can get through anything, and just to never give up. and sometimes it's day to day, and other days it's hour to hour, and sometimes it's minutes to minutes. And it's okay to be that way, even though it's terrifying. It's okay to have to be, like, you don't choose to be chronically ill.
What is something you want to achieve by sharing your story on social media?
I just want to share that invisible illnesses exist. Mast cell diseases you can see pretty quickly if they're hives, obviously, but having Addison's disease and the fact that I have a cortisol pump, a lot of people even think I'm just a type 1 diabetic, but I know my pump is full of hydrocortisone. I'll show it really fast here, actually. So it's just your Medtronic 630G, and here he is. I got a custom case because I don't want to drop this device. It's very expensive. Tubing and supplies are expensive, but this is my adrenal gland, runs a circadian rhythm, does replacement for Addison's. So it's a little weird because I am in adrenal failure and I don't make any of this stuff. So I feel like I'm holding, like, my adrenal gland is in my hands.
Do you know any good disability representation in the entertainment industry?
So this isn't for a disease that I have a lupus-like mixed connective tissue polyarthritis thing going on, but the lupus part. Selena Gomez is, I think she's great representation in the entertainment industry, because I don't think a lot of people would have even known that she had lupus nephritis and needed it. It's not all about her illness, but she has spoken out about it, which is crazy and very brave.
What would you recommend for people wanting to learn more about your condition or disabilities as a whole?
So I'm gonna go from, like, most not that person to someone who has the disease. Definitely for me, you should check out the Mastocytosis Society for a Cure. It's tmsforacure.org. It talks a ton about all different mast cell diseases, not just mastocytosis. Another one is Mast Attack, and it's a website ran by a scientist who has indolent systemic mastocytosis. That's a good place to start. The NIH, PubMed, doing research through articles that are relevant still. Do not go back to the 1960s and look up Addison's. Things have changed. And then finally, if you're close with that person and they're okay disclosing, sharing, letting you know how it is to live with that. So long as you're not going around saying, like, oh, well, my best friend had this, but she was on Plaquenil and she was fine. Whereas, like, if I take Plaquenil, I will, like, have a legit, I have a clown-having seizure forever. So just don't make assumptions once you get to the primary source that everybody's like that.
Okay, that's all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and we wish you all the best, and I hope we'll see each other soon. Bye.